Hello,
Hello,
I'm Mark,
and I'm Joe.
and this is Finish Big.
Oh, I don't know. I'm doing a Dalek.
No, I don't know.
There's no Daleks. Oh no, I should say, I am Fluffy Wuffy. Finish big, and I mean you no harm.
Yes, we are listening our way through all of Big Finish in order.
That's right. Even the one-off freebies that they gave away in Doctor Who magazine.
Biggie Finny Finny, can't you see? We're just trying to get through all the CDs.
You can do a rap in every episode.
No, I know.
Now.
That's terrible. It just came into my head just now.
I don't think it'll catch on.
Yeah, so we are going off on a little bit of a strange side step this time. But they're coming up in order, so we're doing the first two freebies that came with Doctor Who magazine.
So these were both completely free?
These were...
Well, no, you had to buy Doctor Who magazine.
Free. Well, yeah, I know, free with Doctor Who magazine.
I bet you...
No, and they're also free on the Big Finish website as of now, so you can go and download them for free now.
Back then, it was just like... I remember there was sort of like a CD packet taped to the front of Doctor Who magazine.
Of course, yes.
Well, then I wonder if Doctor Who magazine gave Big Finish a little bit of money. I bet a wonga. Because this probably would sell more magazines, no?
Well, so we're doing Last of the Titans and The Ratings War.
Yes.
So Last of the Titans was packaged with the first episode of Storm Warning as a freebie as well. So that was the big push for Paul McGann as the Doctor. This is the new thing. So that, and then The Ratings War was with the next lot of Eighth Doctor stories with the first episode of Invaders from Mars.
Well, I've got a question
So
then.
you're sort of promoting...
Because they gave the first episode of Storm Warning. Why isn't that enough?
Well, it's a little preview, isn't it? And then if nobody has heard Big Finish before, if you're not new to it, you've got your own little adventure, haven't you?
I know. All I've got to say is this is, I'm sort of preempting what I think of the Ratings War, but I think the Ratings War is infinitely superior to Invaders of Mars Episode 1, you know? I'd be more if they said, right, this is the Ratings War, the next series of Paul McGann, I'd be like, oh, Paul McGann and Beat the Meat, bring it on.
Well, should we just go straight into these then?
Yeah, we should, yeah. Interestingly, that there is actually some trivia in Doctor Who, the Inside Story. No, I'm not going in there yet.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, you'd think for these sort of one-off freebies that Benjamin Cook may actually just skip over these in Big Finish, the Inside Story, but no.
Every Big Finish is important.
Well, he only gets to 50. And then did I ever tell you the story about this book?
No.
Well, they stopped it at 50. Anyway, Gary Russell absolutely loved it. He had poured through it and he said, oh, I'm at my bitchy, gossipy best here, you know, slagging everyone off. Print it. Everybody else at Big Finish said, this is a bad idea. This is terrible marketing for Big Finish to bring out a book saying that there was all this infighting and, you know, John Blum having a nervous breakdown and all things like this. You know, Lars Parkin fighting over the rights for his books.
Well, they did the Bernice one afterwards anyway.
That's full of it as well. But basically, essentially, I don't know if it's Jason Hay-Ellery, because he dropped this on my Day of the Daleks commentary for Hamster, but he basically said that they said they would never do it again. Just because it didn't paint sort of Big Finish in a productive, positive light. But, you know, the second volume of this, where it's just a load of covers and synopses, it's fucking boring. I wish I'd
That's what they did
it.
afterwards, didn't they?
Yeah, it's terrible. I want all the goss.
Yeah, it's a really good book, The Inside Story.
Benjamin Cook, man, if anyone can drag the goss out of people, I mean, look at all the fabulous stories he got out of Russ T. Davis.
Well, should we go into Last of the Titans then?
Probably had to send him a few cockpicks. Go on.
So, Last of the Titans came free with Doctor Who magazine issue 300 in January 2001. Stars Sylvester McCoy, Nicholas Briggs. It was written by Nicholas Briggs and directed by Nicholas Briggs with music by Alistair Locke.
Can I say straight off the back that it is not comment on the quality of Nicholas Briggs's talent that they're having to give his work away for free. I mean, it might be nowadays, but back then he was bringing out some good stuff.
I mean, they're done on a budget, these things, aren't they? It's
a budget.
We've got a little bit
This
of time.
felt like it was only 10 minutes. How long was this?
Well, I was just trying to work that out.
Half hour?
Because it says online here that it was like an hour or something, but it's been edited into 2 episodes now.
In no way was this an hour long.
Download it. No.
This was not an hour long.
Must be like maybe 45 minutes
I
at
managed
most.
to have a bath by the time I listened to the end of this. I think I was still getting the suds going by the time this ended.
Yeah, they're very... What's the word?
Short.
They're very contained, short stories, just to give you an idea of what Big Finish can do for audio drama on a budget. I think obviously just filmed, obviously just recorded at the end of the day. Oi, Sylvester, come back. See you later, Sophie. Sylvester, can you stay behind and just do this extra little episode for us? You know?
I get the point of it. I thought that Last of the Titans was so slight.
So you'd never heard this before?
Weirdly enough, I had heard the music though.
So
the music by Alistair Locke. I love a Locke. It was on Music of the Audio Adventures. I think it was Volume 2. And it was a really nice bit, sort of woodwind and drums and things. Really good music. Well, I'm here to tell you today, the music is the best thing about this release.
So it's a solo outing for Sylvester McCoy. Mm-hmm. He's out on his own doing a solo.
Thank fuck he's ditched Sophie Aldred at last. Sorry, I mean Ace. He's ditched Ace.
So, yeah, it's the Doctor investigating this spaceship. He lands on a spaceship and he meets this character called Vilgrath.
That's right.
He's running this sort of... What is it? Like an old sort of industrial spaceship that's going on. And he's
like Jonah in the belly of the whale. Oh, no, wait. That's Storm Morning. Sorry.
And it's... there's a bit of backstory with Vilgrath that he was brought up or he was brought back to life on Earth by a professor or something. And he sort of turns out to be... He's good. He gets on with the Doctor, and then he turns out that he's like swallowing planets or something, and they have to stop him.
Inadvertently, accidentally.
But he doesn't mean to be. Yeah. So
in order for him to get about the universe or something, he's destroying.
He's got to do that.
Lives.
So yeah. And the most interesting part for me actually was it's the Doctor narrating to begin with.
Oh, good God.
Saying, I landed here, I did this. And it's so rare.
I quite like that.
It's so rare that you get the Doctor. We haven't had that before, and I don't think we've had that. I can't think of any other story where the Doctor has narrated, I was doing this, I landed here, and I did this, and this is where
Seasons of Fear. There's Seasons of Fear, the 8th Doctor talks about going to I went to the Singapore Hilton, I threw back a few Singapore slings, had a dance on the dance floor, and then diced the Nymon to death. It's not quite like that, but it's, there is narration. But then isn't that weird that if you are going to have Sylvester McCoy narrating the story...
Well, he only does a bit.
No, wait. But that means you can absolutely avoid Sylvester McCoy coming out the TARDIS and having a long monologue with himself. And yet he does that as well.
He does it as well, yeah.
Which is a very odd choice. Because, those monologues never end up... You remember you said about Paul McGann at the beginning of Storm Morning when he talks to himself for 5 minutes.
No, they don't work.
Well, no one does that, do they? I don't get up in the morning and go, oh, right, well, I'm going downstairs for a cup of coffee now, Oh, I'll have a little bath or I might have a wank, Like, you don't do that in the morning, do you?
Well, like Sylvester McCoy don't.
Oh. No. Okay, what have we...
Anyway, give me some gossip. Let's just get some gossip. Change the subject.
Okay, so this was originally an audio-visuals script.
Oh, right.
Yes, it's a remake of a script called Vilgreth, which had been included on the same tape as the story The Destructor Contract. What the trouble was, the Destructor Contract was a production that had overrun, so it couldn't quite fit on the tape that they wanted to do, so they wanted to do a double tape. But then it was underrunning to do 2 tapes.
Oh my gosh.
So they needed an extra story, so he wrote the story of Vilgreth to go on that. So Gary Russell basically said, dust down your scripts, we're doing a freebie, we need you to doctor this for the 7th Doctor.
Imagine back in the day, those audiovisual days, imagine the the drama that you can't fit something on a cassette. like, oh my God, it's not going to fit. What are we going to do? Is it going to be a double release?
Very early, Big Finish just decided the stories will be as long as they want them to be. You've got something like the Apocalypse Element, which is almost the equivalent of like a 6-parter in there.
I think later on they try and... It depends maybe on the producer.
The main
Sometimes they do. They get longer, and then they go back, and some of them are really short, and then some of them...
Cat.
That's like 15 minutes.
No, it's 70 minutes, but...
No, an episode is like 15 minutes.
Yeah, very short. Yeah.
Well then, okay, so that's even more of a budget release than this, because they haven't had to write the script specially, because Briggs has dusted it down and probably done nothing to it.
Do you know what this reminded me of, this story? Mm-hmm. It reminded me of a particularly badly done Bernie Summerfield cheapo. So you know when the Bernie Summerfield,
like Buried Treasures.
No, but like just the normal one where they have a cast of about 4 people.
Yeah,
something like Dance of the Dead or something like that. You know, but the trouble with it is, and I know I went on about this in Earth Search. There's great globs of exposition again. So he lands on this ship, right? Meets this guy, says, right, okay, well, I'm going to help you out. Your ship's in a bit of trouble. And then this woman comes along and says, no, he's a destroyer of worlds. He's done all these terrible... Oh, my God, I've been tricked. You know, and then we get all this exposition of all this stuff that he's done. And none of it's presented in a dramatic way. We don't see any of the stuff that he's, like, done in real time. It's all just told to us. And that's not very interesting. I was just like, okay, so we've had, like 15 minutes of Sylvester McCoy exploring and meeting this guy, then 10 minutes of mad exposition, and then, I hope Velgraf has a happy life. I was like, okay, so dramatically, that was a bit unsatisfying.
Yeah, there isn't anything really to this story. I don't know what I can say that I got out of it.
Well, I'm going to give you a little quote here from Nicholas Briggs, if I may. He says, where did the original idea from Vilgreth come from? I have no idea, he says, but the original was made up as I went along. I even improvised some of the lines. I set the tape running and improvised the entire story. Ridiculous, really. So he just set a tape recorder going.
About it.
Wait, I wanted there to be a twist, so I created a seemingly sympathetic character who ended up being a villain. Vilgreth didn't really have any bad intentions as such. It just happened that his survival depended on the mass destruction of others.
I do understand that point. That is quite interesting because the Doctor gets on with him. They talk about having a cup of tea or something as well, and he just seems to be this lonely character on this ship that the Doctor meets. And then you find out the history, and he's destroying things and everything. Yeah, I do get that. That is an interesting character. There's nothing done with it here.
I feel like
you could do a lot more with it, I think.
I feel like you could do this as a 4-part Doctor Who story.
You could really flesh it out.
And actually
really
show,
do that.
Like, maybe have 2 episodes where he's doing those terrible things and then 2 episodes on the ship later on. I don't know. I was wondering, as written...
As it is now, though, there's not enough to it.
No.
To make it that interesting.
So, can I ask you then, is this a success at showing you what Big Finish can do?
No, it's not.
I think Invaders of Mars would do that better.
Well, this comes with Storm Warning.
Yeah, sorry, Storm Warning would do this much better.
Storm Warning would, yeah.
You know, which has got colourful characters, a really exciting setting, a terrific post-production. Now, I'm not saying the post-production and the music on that was terrible on this. I thought it was well made. I just didn't think it was particularly substantial.
And Sylvester McCoy's a little bit subdued in it, I feel.
Yeah. Well,
the performance.
He's got no one to bounce off, really, is he?
No.
Oh, you're trying to say we need Sophie Aldred?
No, but I'm just saying the tone is slightly downbeat, which I suppose is in the script slightly. And he's probably playing that Doctor that's towards the end of his, towards the sort of TV movie Doctor in a way. But there's not enough energy with anybody in it, really, to even make it... I don't know, you can fall asleep to this quite easily, I think.
If I had to pay for this...
No, no.
Do you know when you go for a meal, right, in a restaurant?
Yeah.
And it's a really terrible meal and you begrudge paying for it? Like, the bill is coming, the service has been terrible, it's been a horrible chewy bit of old meat. And you're like, oh, God, I've got to pay £30 for that. That's how I'd feel listening to this. If I had to pay for this release, thank God it was slapped on the front of Doctor Who magazine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a fun thing to come with the magazine. That's a good idea to do that, but no, I think we can only for completists. I think this one.
I mean,
although if you download it now from Big Finish websites,
and tell everyone
if you love it, maybe.
However, that is not what I think about the second release that we're talking about.
Let's go straight onto this one then. Okay, so The Ratings War was released in January 2002, starring Colin Baker.
Yo, here we go.
And Toby Longworth as Beep the Meep.
I'm a snuggly waggly woo.
Here we go. Written by Steve Loyens.
Can you just say Lions, please?
Right.
Thank you.
And directed...
Because you know what you're saying?
What?
Steve Loins. You know what a loincloth is?
Yes, I know.
Something that covers your willy.
I know, right. And yes, this came with Doctor Who Magazine 313, plus Part 1 of Invaders from Mars.
Now this time, it's the other way round. Invaders of Mars Part 1 is a very odd affair. And I think anyone getting into the second season of Paul McGann, we'll get there in the next episode, will be like, well, what the hell is this? I'm listening to War of the Worlds. And yet, the Ratings War, now I'm not going to say it's as good as The One Doctor or anything like that, but oh boy, it is funny. It's a really
fun.
funny
And I
story.
didn't listen to this at the time. I didn't get this.
This is the first time you heard this?
No, I have heard it before, but I got it through the Big Finish website for free, which you can. But I didn't get the Doctor Who magazine with this. It was my phase of not buying Doctor Who magazine for some reason. So I missed out at the time. And it fits more with Doctor Who magazine because Beep the Meep is a Doctor Who magazine creation.
Yeah.
Way back in when it first started, sort of a Doctor Who weekly days, wasn't it, with the Fourth Doctor?
I thought, you don't feel like Beat the Meat, right? He's constantly going up the hierarchy. He started off in the comic strip, then he went to audio drama, now he's on the TV.
Wow. So we don't know how much
he's
or
in
anything.
the fucking advert.
We don't know for sure. Anyway. But then, so Beat the Meat does come back however many years later in the comic strip adaptations.
Mark, could you please explain the premise of what Beat the Meep is all about?
What, this story or
just in general?
Tell
the listeners what Beat the Meep is and why he's the greatest war criminal the Doctor's ever faced.
I don't really know too much. He's like a cute little furry creature, isn't he? You love Beat the Meep, don't you?
You call me Beat the Meep sometimes. Do you know? I get very perturbed because he's quite fat.
And also this comes from... So the idea in this particular story is Beep the Meep has a TV show, basically. It's a commentary on reality television.
It's called Beep and Friends.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You and I would be all over that shit if it was on the TV.
So there's like a docudrama thing happening, and he wants to take it. And this comes from also a bit of a sequel to another Beep the Meep comic strip called Star Beast 2.
Yes.
So Star Beast...
Steve Lyons says he was completely unaware of this, and Beat the Meep's got exactly the same plan in Star Beast 2. He's got a TV show that's going to hypnotise the world with.
So that is in Doctor Who Yearbook 96, I think, because I've got it somewhere, and that's the Fourth Doctor. And the Fourth Doctor ends up trapping Beep the Meep inside a cine film of Lassie. At the end, so that's referenced in here about. So he says in this, he's managed to escape that, and it's sort of given him the idea to make these cute animal programs and things like that and everything. But he wants to obviously get his.
Do you know how this started, right? With Colin Baker coming in going, I want to speak to the TV executives now.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely sick to death. You've turned television into a glut of reality TV shows and soaps. It reminded me so much of Bad Wolf. When they said across time they've changed the television landscape. I wonder if Rusty Davis was paying attention, But not only is this a scathing criticism on, the general sort of brainlessness of the television schedule, and let's be honest, it has gone that way a bit. But also it's a wonderful criticism of children's television as well, because Beep and Friends sounds like it was going to be absolutely agonising.
Beep and Friends will air at 8:05, and it will instruct my brainwashed army to slaughter those who remain free. Perhaps I can interest you in a sneak preview.
I don't think I could stomach it.
Oh, come now, Doctor. You're going to die. My slaves will break into this room and tear your limbs from their sockets, your head from your neck. This will be your last chance to experience some culture. Beep.
Oh, we dance and we play with joy, we gush as our dreadful song turns your brain to mush. Join the fun and you'll see, soon you'll agree you are Beep's friend after all.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite so ghastly.
And Colin Baker comes straight into this story.
Bold, brash,
Absolutely
glorious.
perfect in this. And I think that's what makes it.
You know what I said about him coming in one time? That he literally knows all along, but Beep's there. He knows that that he's got this evil plan, and he's just going on about the TV schedules just to distract them long enough, isn't it? Because he goes, oh, I think your cushion just moved over there.
Yeah, he knows.
And it's Beep the meme.
But this feels like such a more rounded story than Last of the
It's the same
Titans.
amount of time as well.
It's a proper story, and you can get quite a lot out of this. It's funny, and but it's also dramatic, and you get to hear Beep the Meep. I mean, how they decided to come up with the voice of
Toby
this character.
Longworth, I salute you, sir. Because when he's
How do you do it?
When he's doing like a helpless beat, he's like, don't hurt me, please. I'm just a snuggly wuggly woo. And then his voice goes all evil, and I'm going to slice the fur from your hamsters. You know, he's great.
It's perfect. It just fits.
So funny.
And you can see that character come to life, can't you?
Do you know what's really interesting about Colin Baker is he's had so many diverse stories now. You know, we've just had him in Project Twilight facing up against vampires and being appalled and angry. Do you remember him in Apocalypse Element when he's furious about, there'll be nothing left? We've had him in The One Doctor, which was the biggest pantomime going. And then this sort of satire. And he convinces me in every single genre he's in.
And feels like he's got the confidence that this is where
I think
this point in
he
time,
knows he's popular here.
He is the most popular Doctor here.
And that rides high, I think, in
and
the
he
first
knows
100
that.
releases.
And you can just give him this freebie thing to do, and he'll do. Like Sylvester McCoy, it does feel like he's just quickly reading it before he goes out the studio. Colin Baker is here doing the full performance and really getting into the story.
Do you know what the funniest joke in the whole thing was? I roared with laughter when he goes... The Doctor goes, I'm done with television now. I need a medium that allows me to express myself, that allows me to be... And someone just goes, louder?
I mean, it's tongue-in-cheek as well, the way it's written, and he's going along with it. And it's got that commentary. There's something about Beat the Meat. His programme goes on hiatus for 18 months, like Doctor Who. There's those little references in there which really make it as well. And it does feel like this could have been a comic strip story as well, all of those things.
Totally.
It fits that comic strip thing, but it also makes a really great audio drama. And this, if I heard this free as the first Big Finish story,
I'll be all over
I'd
that.
be getting the next Colin Baker releases straight away.
I'll be signing up as subscribers get more for joe.com.
Yeah.
I'll be all over it. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean that. There's no joe.com. Don't go looking for my OnlyFans. You'll be disappointed. No, I meant Joe would be .com in... You know what I'm trying to say. I'll be subscribing to Big Finish.
You get more from colinbaker.com.
Yeah. And it's a weird pairing, The Ratings War and Invaders from Mars, because tonally they are very, very different stories.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But as well, you remember what I said about the structure of Last of the Titans? What you have here is an establishing scene where they explain that... so you get the exposition at the beginning, then you get the dramatic moment where all the crowd's being taken over and they're, going, death, death, kill, kill, kill. So it has the momentum to build up to a climax rather than just going, well, this all happened in the past, he's a terrible person. I just think Steve Lyons is a better writer.
Yeah. And we also have the song in this as well.
Oh, I was waiting to get to this.
I'm surprised you haven't...
Put your dog in a blender and close the lid. Cut your hamster to pieces and feed your kid.
I mean, okay, it's
Slice
worth...
the fur from your cat. Deep fry it in
Please.
some fat. You are deep. No. Beep's friend, kill them all.
I mean, it's worth it for the song alone, isn't it?
The song is brilliant. Apparently, David Darlington was a bit pissed because he's done all the effort doing the sound design and music and everything, and then they gave the song to Alistair Locke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm glad they did. He did a bloody... And no, Darlington says Alistair did an amazing job.
Who sings it? Is it Jane Goddard?
Is it?
Oh, well, she's in it. I just didn't... I don't know who else sings it.
What it sounds like, you know the fellow who sings "We're walking in the air."
No, it's
it
a
sounds
woman.
like Helen Jones to me.
No, it's not. It's not Helen Goldwyn, is it?
I don't know. But the doctor goes, "Oh, I've faced some dreadful things in my life, but never anything as nauseating as that." And then at the end of the CD, they put the whole song on as a clip. And do you know what else they put on there? Beep going, "And I will tear your children from you and boil their skin in acid." And it's just Toby Longworth going on and on and on for ages as Beep the Meep. Can I say, if Beep the Meep is anywhere near this fun in that special, I mean, can you imagine this character with Catherine Tate? It's going to be delightful.
I can't remember. I've only briefly heard the comic strip adaptations. I can't remember
Star
Beep the
Beast
Meep
is wonderful.
being
And do you know what?
as good.
They managed to lure back Alistair Locke after years of being away to do the sound design for those
really?
comic book adaptations.
Oh.
Yeah. I know, there's coming a time, you know. I'm not sure if Alistair Locke fell out with Big Finish, you know, but he suddenly is dropped all of a sudden.
I'm surprised maybe they didn't do any more Beep the Meeps, or maybe they will in the future. It would be fun to have more. I would be totally open to more Beep the Meep.
Do you know what's strange, right? Is we have a couple of comedies here, don't we? The One Doctor, The Ratings War, The Maltese Penguin, I'd say is a bit of a comedy, and Bang Bang a Boom. And then you don't really get any after that, do you?
There's nothing particularly... No, not in that kind of...
Sort of 50 to 100. I can't think of any out-and-out comedies. The Wormery's quite funny.
Yeah, that's a near...
I can't think of anything else. Other Lives, but that's not really a comedy.
No.
Carissa's tortured in that.
No, I can't... Nothing like in this style. No, that's a shame.
What do you think about... So we said McCoy was on his own and he was quite subdued. Well, Colin Baker's on his own in this.
Yeah, but it's completely different.
He's got
Colin
enough
Baker works
personality
on
for
his
two,
own.
hasn't he?
Colin Baker works on his own very, very well. And this would have been his first sort of solo adventure. I mean, at least we're sort of used to Sylvester McCoy sort of being on his own, the Seventh Doctor on his own in various comic strips and things, but it's quite rare to have the Sixth Doctor on his own.
I think what's really delightful about Colin Baker is he's happy to take the piss out of himself.
Yeah,
You know,
he knows.
we know we're coming up to this punchline that he's a very shouty actor, and he just runs with it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
This is a really great freebie. Like, I'm surprised they didn't make people pay for this one.
I know,
Because I
yeah.
would have happily have given them a tenner for this.
Yeah, they could have stuck this at the end of a box set or something. But no, really, really good. I would absolutely recommend this.
Can I ask, sort of going forward, what other
Freebies there are.
There are, because I can't
Yeah.
think of any.
Yeah, well, Paul McGann gets one with Living Legend.
Oh, I've not heard that.
With
Is it when he's playing a football match?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
this. Well done.
I've never heard that
There's
one.
that one.
Is there Silver Lining?
Silver Lining is... No, I think that's just a one-parter with a... the Fifth Doctor gets Cuddlesome.
And No Place Like Home.
And No Place Like Home, yeah.
That's when everyone's being shown around.
Yeah,
his
so that
hearts.
would actually be the next
What's
one.
Cuddlesome?
The Fifth Doctor one. It's sort of like, like where Care Bear things come alive. Have you heard that one? I mean, that's sort of more in the style of this,
that sounds
actually, for the Fifth Doctor.
And then did they stop doing them after that?
In terms of Free with Doctor Who magazine, yeah.
I guess they had their audience by then.
But nowadays you just get a standard release. So you get like a code through Doctor Who magazine to get like a free story, don't you? Like an Eighth Doctor adventure or something. Download.
You know what's
I
happening
mean, we're
now?
in pre-download days now, so they're not going to stick a CD on the front of a thing now, are they?
But what's happened now is Big Finish has such a prolific output.
Yeah.
They are, I mean, I dread, I'm going to have a guess how many stories you think there are. I don't know, 500, 1,000. There's a lot of them, but to the point where they actually can put like 50 free on Spotify.
Well, exactly,
and say,
yeah.
try these 50 and then see if you like them. And then there's, more of this ilk if you like it. They're in that position now. Whereas back then, they had 20 stories released and, so they're having to do these little extra bits.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to say, of all of the sort of weird extra bits we've done, and I'm including Last of the Titans here, Fly Me to the Moon, and all these sort of weird little stories.
We haven't done that yet. Oh, no, we have, yeah.
We've done that. We've recorded it.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
You haven't released
I've
it
completely
yet.
gone out of my mind.
This has been the best written, the best acted, and the best produced.
This one, ratings war, yes, 100%.
No, I am going to go out of my way and say this is an absolute classic, but I think it is
very fun.
very good.
Very good fun. Well, I'll do a little chronology moment.
Can you do that for these?
Of course.
Well, off you go.
Well, we have... okay, so Last of the Titans. We have the Doctor on his own. Mm-hmm. Now, the only other one we've had with the Doctor on his own at the moment is Sirens of Time.
Ah, yeah. But going ahead, there's way more.
There will be more. There will be more. So this is just going to go in front of Sirens of Time at the moment.
And pre-TV movie.
Well, the Sirens of Time is pre-TV movie, yes.
So what is it going? Sirens of Time, Last of the Titans, TV movie.
Last of the Titans, Sirens of Time, TV movie.
Why are you putting it before Sirens of Time?
Well, because I feel like the Sirens of Time is a bit more epic towards the end of his time, isn't it? I feel like this is like we'll just put it before.
Master is Sylvester McCoy on his own,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
And Valhalla.
We could get technical a bit later on because sometimes they use the TV movie TARDIS sounds for him and sometimes they don't.
Warlock's Cross,
actually, technically, in the Sirens of Time, they don't use the TV movie TARDIS noise, which is a bit annoying. But no, we're going in front of Sirens of Time for this. And for...
can I say then, will you have like an entire season of
him on his own? Yeah.
Because I think there's enough stories.
There's plenty, of him going around on his own. And the Sixth Doctor on his own...
Oh, I've got a conundrum for you.
Oh, yeah?
Well, you said you don't include the books.
No.
Well, where are you going to put in Chris Quedge and Ross Forrester then? When they come along in Big Finish.
Because Big Finish has adapted Original Sin, their first story.
Yeah.
So they come along in that first story.
Oh, okay. So where are you going to put that with all the others?
Well, because they've adapted a load of new adventure-y ones, haven't they? So it'll fit in.
Oh, okay.
Because Bernice leaves in that one. Goes off on her own.
So, but you're not going to include the book chronology, just...
No, just the audio ones. Yeah.
Oh, okay. God, just so complicated.
It'll work out, everyone.
It's a tangled web. When Charlie Pollard is saved from the R101...
Yeah.
And the whole web of time becomes unravelled...
Yeah.
In a great, horrible mess. That's how I see this chronology.
Well, it's not unravelling.
Well, no, that's because you're the one putting all the pins up, keeping it in place.
Well, so the Sixth Doctor on his own is quite interesting. It's going to have to go pre-Marian Conspiracy for now, I think, because he's on his own in the beginning of that one. So we might have a season of the Doctor on his own there before Evelyn.
But he's on his own in Trial of Time Lord as well, Mysterious Planet.
What?
At the beginning of Mysterious Planet, when he goes to the trial, he's on his own.
Yeah, no, but he's just been taken out of the middle of Mind Warp to go to the trial there.
Overcomplicated.
If anyone's unravelling it all, it's you.
Can you
trying to do your best.
Can you do me a favour? Can you have each Doctor and just do a little chart, please?
So
I can see it visually.
Yeah, okay.
Up on the wall or something.
All right, okay, we'll start.
Study her in depth, and then I might get a bit better at this.
Right. Anyway, so it's going just before the Marian Conspiracy for now. There we go. That's our two. Our two little freebies.
One is a load of toot, and the other one is well worth your time. It's Ratings War free on Big Finish website as well.
Yeah, they both are. Yeah, you can go and download them.
Don't worry about Last of the Titans. Get downloading Ratings War and just listen to the Beat the Meep song.
Well, once Beat the Meep does come back on TV, I think we're going to have Beat the Meep fever, aren't we? And everyone, they're going to put that out, and everyone's going to be downloading it. And the comic strips will go on sale.
When Beat the Meep...
It'll all happen, won't it?
When Beat the Meep comes out on TV, suddenly this will be a tenner.
You know what? I think by the time that comes out, do you reckon by the end of this year we'll have Beep plushies in the shops?
Oh, I'd love
Imagine.
Wouldn't you love
There'll be some merchandise, won't there?
My adipose plushie that I had. I don't know what's happened to it now, do you know? Might be up in the loft. Oh, it got a bit dirty. Anyway, it's the best bit. Oh, you're so gross. So wank over an adipose. What is wrong with you? No. But like, Beat the Meat merch.
Would be amazing. It will happen. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, so where are we going next?
Well, we had a little clue earlier on. Well, we shall be listening to Series 2 of the Eighth Doctor Adventures.
Oh,
so
yes.
We're going to be doing, next episode, the first 3, Invaders from Mars.
Chimes of Midnight? How could you possibly forget that?
Chimes of Midnight and Seasons of Fear. So
we are the Naimon, and you are our prey.
So, yes, they're the next 3 in the main range.
Sorry, that
here we go.
Is a bit of a spoiler, doesn't it? Sorry. No, wait, before we go out, can I say?
Yep.
This is potentially, the best single season that Big Finish have ever brought out. In terms of a structured season and a character arc, come on, this is peak Big Finish, isn't it?
It's pretty good. We shall see.
Pretty good?
Well, I mean, you said Invaders of Mars isn't that great, but we'll find that out next time, won't we, everyone?
Yeah. And don't panic. It's not War of the Worlds. It ain't real. And don't forget...
Finish big.
Beep, beep, beep. Da, da, la, 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 la,
Please, no.
la, 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 la. I'm going to keep singing until you press that button.
Oh.
La, la, la,